Hi guys, and welcome back to Inside Investing, and today we're going to be showing you how VWRL is making us rich, because yes indeed, VWRL is making us rich. It's starting off very slow, but of course in the long run, because we're long-term investors, VWRL is going to make us very wealthy in the long run. And today we're going to show you why that is the case and why we have so much trust in VWRL. So we start off with DEGIRO. That's the broker that we use. You've seen our broker account in multiple update videos as well. We have portfolio updates. I think every 2 weeks or so try to have a portfolio update. So this should be familiar to you. If it isn't, then please subscribe so that you're at least aware of how our portfolio is doing. This is at least how the DEGIRO looks like. If we go to the left to portfolio, we can see exactly what's currently in our portfolio, and we see right there this one is VWRL, so that's the Vanguard FTSE All World UCITS ETF USD distributing. So we see the current price is around 102 euros. We have currently 5 of these shares with a total value therefore of 514 euros. The average buying price, so the break-even price, the price that we've bought all of these shares on average for, is around 96 euros. So that's indeed already around a 6 euro increase, a 6 euro profit per share times 5 shares. So that's around the 32 euro of profit, which already is around 6.8%. Considering that we've just started this broker account, so we've been investing now, I think for about 6 months or so, having a 6.8% profit on this ETF already, I would say is quite significant. So we're very happy about that. So for now, let's quickly dive into how VWRL is doing at the moment. So we can see for the last week or month, you can just select that right there. But I think in this case, let's first have a look at the last 3 years. What do we see here? Well, we see that in 15th of August 2018, it was at 74 euros, a little bit of a dip right there. Then it increased back up a little bit to quite a high point of around 88 euros. That's, I would say, quite good already in like 2020 or February 2020. But then it dropped down in the next 2 months, very low to around 59 euros because of the global pandemic. So yeah, that was a very good point to start investing in VWRL. But as you've seen in our previous videos as well, we apply dollar cost averaging. So we buy shares over a longer period. So just every first of the month, we buy a few of these shares. So that's just what we do. We don't time the market, because timing the market doesn't really work. That's been proven. It's very difficult to say, well, this is a good point to buy more shares. So we also don't do this. Also, for example, Warren Buffett has said it multiple times that that's not really the way to invest. You just need to buy on a specific point in time every month. You just need to buy them and don't really think about if it's the correct time. What you should do is time in the market. So the more time in the market that you have, the better it is. So if you're able to invest over a period of, let's say, 20 years, that's better than just to wait now for the next year to this price go down. Perhaps a little bit, might become a different pandemic or whatever. Everything, you never know what happens in the next week. You can wait for that, but on average we would say don't wait for it, just start investing today. And overall, also what you've seen here in the last 3 years, you would then have had a very nice and stable average buying price, and currently trading around 102 euros, you would indeed have made quite some profit if you've done it wisely. Then let's look at the all-time graph. So we see that it started somewhere in 2013 it was, back then at around 44 euros. So if you would have been able to buy quite some shares back then by now you would getting close to 2.5 times your money. So that's very, very good, guys. If you would be able to invest it back then you would have made significant profits already. In our case, yeah, we've just started in 2021. So in our case, it's not really applicable, but at least it's very good to see that in such a long period, we see a very stable grow. Of course, it goes up and down a little bit once in a while. and that's fine. You have small dips, and that's all fine for us. We invest in the long term, so not for one month or 2 months. This is indeed for probably the next 20 or 30 years we want to have this money invested. So therefore it doesn't really matter too much for us. So guys, this is at least the performance of VWRL in our portfolio. As you've seen, it's currently in the plus, so that's good. And let's quickly have a look at what Vanguard itself, so this is the website of Vanguard itself, what do they have to say about VWRL. We see the number of stocks, so that's around 3,600 companies, stocks, so different companies included in one share of VWRL. So in our case, we've got 5 shares, and then each share consists of 3,600, more than 3,600 different companies included. So that means that this is so widely spread. You've got so very well diversified your portfolio if you just buy VWRL, and therefore actually you could just have an investment portfolio of only VWRL, which is actually quite funny. People might then say, oh well, that's a bit non-diversified. No, actually it's not, because you're buying into 3,600 different companies. Let's have a look at the risk. So that's around 5 out of 7. And then I think the 7 is the highest. I think that's still fairly low if you consider that most of these ETFs as well are usually like 6 or 7. So 5 should be fine for us. We've got some numbers down here at the bottom. I think that's not really too interesting to see for you right now. You do see an inception date of 2012, so that's when they started. Dividend schedule is quarterly. We're gonna have a look at that in a bit. Then you can also see when you can expect these dividends. Also, there are a few different documents included in here. So guys, if you want to see more information about VWRL and whatever, then definitely have a look at Vanguard itself. But at least for us, this is important. So I would say the amount of stocks included and the risk is important. And now we're gonna have a little bit of a more detailed look into those stocks that are included. Quickly looked into the Financial Times, looked up Vanguard FTSE All World Usage ETF. And then right here we can see how many companies are included, or which companies and which sectors are included. So we see here the weigh-ins, so that's sectors and regions. We can have a look at the regions in a bit. But for now at least we see that technology is very big included, right? So that's around 20% of all of the companies are in the technology sector. That's quite good, I would say. Financial services as well, around 15%. No, we've got a little bit of consumer cyclical. We've got a little bit of healthcare, industrials, communication services, and then going down the hill from there. And I would say mainly, these 4 make up quite a big chunk of the of this ETF. So that's very good, I would say. I like that it's quite heavily focused around technology and financial services. And then quickly have a look at the sectors. I'm not sure why that's currently empty. I would expect this is calculate only position holdings. Okay, so that's currently not being used, but that's fine, I guess, from our side. So we're not going to look at the regions then. One thing I did want to have a look at is the top 10 holdings as of this moment. So we see that the top 10 holdings have a total of around 14.81%. So I would say that the biggest 10 companies own or are included for approximately 14.81%. I would say that's pretty low actually. So that's good. You want this to be as low as possible so that you know that it's very well diversified. And we see that that's the case for VWRL. So then let's have a look at the biggest companies. Well, the biggest one, Apple. We've got Microsoft. That's good. We've got some Amazon included. We buy Facebook. There's Alphabet, which is the mother company of Google. We've got Tesla, and then we've got some semiconductors, Nvidia, and JP Morgan and Chase. I would say that these are the companies that you preferably want to invest in. I think most of you are also interested in these companies. We've received messages of people wanting to buy into Facebook, into Apple, into Tesla. Well, in this case, you can see if you just buy one share of VWRL, you're actually buying into all of these companies. So that's I think very welcome. Of course, if these companies increase in value, then VWRL is also going to be increasing. But VWRL is not only increasing in its own share value, so the value that we saw in our broker account, because they're actually also paying out dividends. And you can see that right in this schedule. So this is the Vanguard estimated ETF distribution schedule. So this is the schedule when they expect to share these dividends. And we can see right here, guys, that Vanguard FTSE All World UCITS ETF distributing is being done on a quarterly basis. And when do they do this? They do it in March, June, September, and December. And at the recording of this video, it's currently somewhere mid-August. So that means that we still have a little bit less than a month to go before the next dividend is going to be paid out, which of course is very nice. And we can see that right here, guys. So we see September announcement is going to be the 9th of September. So that's in approximately 3 weeks or so. Then they're going to be announcing how much money, how much dividend per share is going to be paid out. Then we've got the X date, and then I think this date is very important. That's the record date. So you need to make sure that as of the 17th of September, you've got your final shares of VWRL bought. So preferably if you want to increase your portfolio on VWRL, it's better to do it rather sooner than later, because if you do it past this time, so past the 17th of September, you're not going to be eligible to receive these dividends. So if you want to get more dividends, then you need to buy these shares before the record date. And then the payment date, that's usually a few weeks later. So in this case, it's the 29th of September. So 29th, you're going to be receiving your dividends. So that's some passive income that you can do there as well, that you can create here as well. Also, what's quite nice is that if you indeed have some dividends, at least that's what we do, and that's what we suggest you to do as well, is to reinvest those dividends. I think the DEGIRO doesn't have sort of a dividend reinvestment plan, so that I think they don't currently have that yet. But if your broker does allow for dividend reinvestment automatically, then try and see if that's something that you can automatically set up, which means that if there's dividend being paid out, and from that dividend you can already buy new shares, that's automatically being done. And that really makes the whole process passive, instead of now that you need to push a few buttons. I would say it's still fairly easy, by the way, so it doesn't matter too much, but at least good for you to know. So that's the dividend part of Vanguard All World UCITS ETF VWRL. So guys, I think that was it for today. A quick update on VWRL and why we really like to invest in it. To summarize, it has been growing very stable in the last couple of years. It is very well diversified with around 3,600 different companies, and they also pay out dividends. So all of these three would make us very happy and very comfortable with investing in VWRL. And therefore, yeah, it's actually making us rich in the long term. Of course, now it's still a small amount, but let's see how this is going to be doing in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, and for the upcoming years as well. So guys, if you want to be updated on how our portfolio is growing in the future, then definitely subscribe to the channel. Then you can be updated on our portfolio performance. Also, if you like this video and you learned something new today, please give this video a like. It helps out the channel. And comment down below any topics for the next one, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you there. Cheers.